Modern men are no longer confused, and they're no longer scared. They're simply not playing the game anymore. Modern men are done performing for disinterest. Today, when a woman tells him no, a man who respects himself says, okay, and he leaves her alone. You see, gentlemen, 8s, 9s, and 10s, they come with a lot of baggage. They get attention from men everywhere they go. Their egos are reinforced daily. They constantly test your boundaries. It just never ends. Women fall in love with their college professors and not their classmates. Why? Because they're drawn to authority, not equality. They want guidance, not the partnership they're always squawking about on TikTok. Because the man who leads her mind automatically leads her. If you're in your 30s, you need to stop letting these bitches treat you like an option, my guy. Because in your 30s, you have what matters, which is experience, standards, and leverage. You're not guessing like you were in your 20s. You've got a mission, a schedule, and a direction. And any woman who disrupts that is not a blessing. She's a bill. Here's what being treated like an option looks like. Inconsistent replies, last-minute plans, mixed signals, maybe energy, and attention when she's bored. Sound familiar, guys? That ain't romance. That's disrespect. High-caliber men don't beg, they don't chase clarity, and they damn sure don't negotiate effort. Instead, they observe and decide. If she wants you, she shows it. If she respects you, she's consistent. And if she values you, she protects your relationship. It's that simple. Because the very moment you tolerate being an option is the minute you train her to keep you as one. Because standards are taught by consequences. Let me repeat that. Standards are taught by discipline. Your 30s are not for settling, gentlemen. They're for selecting. Young men chase while high caliber men choose. You're in your prime, guys. Act like it. Match energy, protect your peace, walk away from disrespect, and never be an option. You can learn more about how not to be an option by subscribing and hitting the notification bell. It looks like these Gen Z boys have it figured out. The age of chasing is over, guys. Modern men are no longer confused, and they're no longer scared. They're simply not playing the game anymore. Modern men are done performing for disinterest. Today, when a woman tells him no, a man who respects himself says, okay, and he leaves her alone. No arguing, no convincing, no follow-ups, no orbiting, no friendship code. But here's the issue women didn't anticipate. Those men, they never come back. They don't linger, they don't check in, they don't wait for a mood change. They simply move on as though nothing happened. Because modern men have finally asked the obvious question about dating here in 2026. And that question is, why chase someone who is running away? Chasing assumes resistance. Resistance assumes lack of desire, and lack of desire is a dead end. Attraction that needs persuasion was never attraction to begin with. Over the past few years, men have realized something very critical. If she really wants you, she makes it easy. If she doesn't want you, no amount of effort will magically convert indifference into desire. So men have stopped chasing, not out of bitterness, but out of efficiency. Men have stopped proving. They've stopped auditioning. They've stopped trying to earn interest. These guys now operate on one simple rule: interest first, investment second. Anything else is just bad math as far as they're concerned. And this is why women are shocked, bitter, and pissed. Not because men disappeared, but because men learned to walk away quietly. No drama, no ego battles, no speeches. Just absence. And absence hurts more than any chase ever did. But like I said before, the age of chasing is over. It's either mutual interest or it's nothing. This isn't weakness, gentlemen. This is evolution. And if you want to continue to evolve in today's dating landscape, subscribe and hit the notification bell. This for years, but men who can regularly bag 8s, 9s, and 10s often choose 6s and 7s when looking for a relationship. Myself included. I was running through hot hoes in Vegas for years, but when it came time to settle down, I chose a 6. That woman is now my wife. Only men who are or have been successful with women will understand this, but most women never will. This isn't cope, this isn't insecurity, this is experience. Men with real options optimize for peace, not validation. You see, gentlemen, 8s, 9s, and 10s, they come with a lot of baggage. They get attention from men everywhere they go. Their egos are reinforced daily. They constantly test your boundaries. It just never ends. But the reason these girls are like this is because beauty gives power, and power changes behavior. A man who's dated enough knows that attraction is cheap, but he also knows stability is not. Neither is calm, and neither is cooperation. 6 and 7s, on the other hand, bring a lot less entitlement, a lot less chaos, and a lot less competition for dominance, while also providing more femininity, more gratitude, and more peace. Men of value do not chase beauty. They can get that anytime. Instead, what they chase is alignment. Looks do get her in the door. That gets his attention, but it is her character that determines longevity. Modern women assume that men always want the hottest option, but that's how women women think. Men with abundance, they think differently. They choose what preserves their frame. Because I'm here to tell you, an average-looking woman who's cooperative beats a stunning woman who's combative any day. I speak from personal experience, having paid this price many times over. And that's why this truth sounds so offensive to those who don't qualify to see it. If you've never had options, you won't understand choosing restraint. Men with options don't marry fantasy, they marry functionality. Why? Because they know that while beauty fades, peace compounds. Only men who've had regular access understand why men walk away from attractive women consistently. This isn't theory, this is pattern recognition. And women will never understand this because they've never lived on that side of choice. Subscribe to the channel for daily dating wisdom like this. I'm going to tell you something about women that you probably already know, but you don't realize that you know it yet. Women don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with the men who can guide them. If that doesn't make sense to you, think of it this way. Women fall in love with their college professors and not their classmates. Why? Because they're drawn to authority, not equality. They want guidance, not the partnership they're always squawking about on TikTok. Because the man who leads her mind automatically leads her emotions. This isn't romance, guys. This is nature. You see, gentlemen, a college professor has what most young men do not, which is authority, composure, age, direction, patience, and power. And women instinctively respond to that combination. Why? Because guidance feels like protection to the feminine, and protection feels like love. A man who teaches her becomes a man she can trust. A man she can trust becomes a man she respects. And a man she respects becomes a man she can fall for instantly. Respect escalates to admiration. Admiration escalates to attachment. And attachment escalates to what feels like love to her. It is the most predictable sequence in female psychology. But here's the part that most men refuse to accept. A woman is not turned on by potential. She's turned on by a man who has already walked the path and can show her the way. This is why the equation of age plus teacher plus authority equals turned on. And this combination hits a lot harder than it looks. It triggers something of a paternal archetype in her psychology. Not in a creepy way, but in a biological evolutionary one. Women don't want a man who wants to learn together. They want a man who already knows. Because a mentor doesn't ask questions. He gives answers. He doesn't seek direction. He provides it. And these things make him emotionally magnetic. So the quick math here is that a woman bonds with the man who elevates her, not the man who entertains her. Modern men want to impress women. Wise men want to teach them. Because a woman's attention grows fastest in the presence of a man she can learn from. And my wife is the perfect example of this. When I met her, I wasn't this 6'4" ripped Adonis with a 12-inch ding-a-ling who drove a Lambo. She recognized very quickly that I could teach her how to handle money, how to navigate complicated situations with her former work colleagues, how to deal with extended family issues, and most of all, how to be a lady. And this is exactly why women remember the mentor long after she forgets the boyfriend. Women don't fall in love with age, gentlemen. They fall in love with leadership. They don't fall in love with maturity. They fall in love with mastery. And they don't just fall in love with confidence. They also fall in love with competence. All of these things are what makes a man unforgettable. You need to get your hands on one of my most potent ebooks, How to Train Your Woman. So if you want to go from being the kind of man that women leave and become the kind of man that women learn from, you need to get your hands on one of my most potent books, How to Train Your Woman. Yes, you heard that correctly. This book is called How to Train Your Woman, and you can get it at datingwisdom.net. Ended up blindsiding me again. But what that experience taught me was that when she comes back, it's almost never because she suddenly cares. It's never because she all of a sudden realized she loved you. It's because her options dried up. She didn't miss you. She missed the attention. She missed the safety. She missed the stability. Your connection with her was not about romance. You were a resource to her. How do I know? Simple. When she had choices, you were invisible. And when choices disappear, you become special. That isn't love, guys. That's convenience. Here are the real reasons she came back. The new guy failed, the roster went quiet, and the validation stopped. Women lie, gentlemen. Patterns do not. And as men, we get tricked by nostalgia, don't we? Old pictures, her reminiscing about the good old days, her telling you that she's changed, but she didn't change, player. The market did. And that's why she's trying to come back. If she respected you, then she wouldn't need to lose you in order to value you. And here's the diabolical thing. The attempted comeback is usually a test. Are you still available? Do I still have access? Can I still control the pace? And if you take her back, you teach her a cold, hard lesson. And that lesson is that she can leave, shop around, return, and you will still be there. A man with standards does not tolerate becoming a backup plan. He becomes her lesson. So when she returns, don't get emotional, get logical. Because if she left when life was good, she'll leave again when life is better. Stop getting taken advantage of by women who treat you like an option option, gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel or get over to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and to the streets because the bad boys get her first. The nice guys, they just get what's left of her. Modern women waste their primes on men who spike their heartbeats, not the men who play it safe. She'll jump into chaos almost immediately, but then she'll make the good guy wait until she's ready. One man triggers adrenaline, the other man offers security. And desire is always much higher on a modern woman's list of priorities than actual stability. Her first man gets her raw self, literally and figuratively. Every man after that gets a managed version. Their youth is spent chasing the excitement, but later comes that panicked search for safe. She calls the bad boy toxic, yet she's still checking his stories at 4:30 in the morning. And by the time she actually wants marriage, her loyalty has been fragmented and her standards have been rewritten. That's why nice guys are confused. They meet her after the storm, never before it. One man gets her prime, the other man gets her hindsight. Like it or not, that's the game, gentlemen. You can either ignore it and pay dearly, or you can pay attention and thrive. Subscribe to the channel if you want to make this crystal clear, because I have been on the wrong side of this way too many times. Women are absolutely ruthless when they fall out of love. They're not emotional, they're not confused, they are ruthless. When there's a breakup, men become nostalgic while women become surgical. And when her feelings die, so does her mercy. A man remembers the good times, but a woman rewrites history. What she described as love now becomes I was never happy. And we see and hear this all the time, guys. And she doesn't leave slowly. She detaches quietly. And by the time you notice, she has already grieved you while still sleeping right next to you. When a woman is really done with you, she doesn't argue anymore. Instead, she observes and she calculates. That is when she's preparing her exit. In this situation, silence isn't peace, it's planning. And this is why women move on so fast. She didn't heal quickly. She healed before she left your ass. You were still fighting for the relationship while she was already free. This isn't cruelty, gentlemen. It's efficiency. So when it comes to relationships, women are emotional on the way in, but they are logical on the way out. A lot of men ask themselves, well, how do I fix this? While women ask themselves, is this still worth my time? And when the answer is no, that door and her legs close permanently. That's why begging never works. This is why explaining never works. This is why promises never work. She already decided. You were just catching up. Women don't destroy men with anger. They destroy them with indifference. Love doesn't end loudly, gentlemen. It ends clean. So the lesson for men is simple. If she falls out of love, walk away with dignity. Because once her heart is gone, she will never come back. And pretending otherwise is exactly how men lose themselves. Do not be one of those men. Subscribe and hit the notification. That was one of many situations that taught me the power of walking away. But if you can walk away from a beautiful woman, you already outrank better than 95% of men. Because beauty is the most effective leash ever created. Most men don't date women. They negotiate with their own desperation. She doesn't have powers because she's special. She has power because most men are weakened by female beauty. The average man would tolerate disrespect, silence, cheating, and humiliation just to stay close to a nice body. That ain't love, gentlemen. That's addiction. And women can sense it instantly. The moment she knows you cannot walk away, the respect dies immediately, and the attraction follows shortly after. A lot of men will say, she's out of my league. Translation, I put women above my self-respect. High caliber men don't chase beauty. They evaluate behavior. Yes, looks get her in the door, but it's her character that decides whether or not he keeps her around. The rarest sentence a woman can hear is, I'm not impressed. That sentence alone terrifies an ego built entirely on attention for something they did not work for. Walking away isn't arrogance. It's clarity. It means your life is already full. It means she's an option, not oxygen. Most men fear losing the girl. High caliber men fear losing themselves. And that's a big difference. Any man can fall for beauty, but only a disciplined man can reject it when it comes with disrespect. If you can walk away no matter how hot she is, you're not cold, you're dangerous. And that's the kind of man women feel and never forget. So if you want to learn how to become the kind of man who walks away from beautiful women, get on over to datingwisdom.net. Link in description or bio. Probably already know that I have been guilty of this more times than I can count. Guys, stop sending girls long paragraphs after they've hurt you. Pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and bounce like a bad check. No goodbyes, no good riddance, no you'll regret this, no nothing. Because I'm here to tell you, she didn't misunderstand. She understood completely and she still disrespected you. And that's the part you keep avoiding. Paragraphs don't create remorse. They create validation. You are rewarding disrespect with attention. You think you're expressing yourself while she knows you're still attached. And attachment kills leverage with modern women. No woman ever reads one of these pathetic paragraphs and thinks to herself, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I should treat him better. Nah, player. Instead, she thinks, yeah, he's gonna stick around no matter what. Gentlemen, you cannot guilt trip someone into empathy, because if she really cared, then you wouldn't need to convince her. Closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision, and silence is a boundary. Say less, observe more, withdraw access, and let the consequences teach her what words never will. Because speaking from personal experience, the strongest message is absence, not explanation. If she feels nothing when you leave, that paragraph was never going to save your relationship in the first place. So stop writing these essays to women who have hurt you. They don't care, and guilt won't make them care. Instead, keep your dignity by subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell. By the time they're 30, most women have lived sexual lives that most men have never experienced, not even one time. But that ain't the secret. The silence is. And if you're a little confused by that, listen up. Men exaggerate their pasts while women edit theirs, not out of modesty, but out of survival. Because women are keenly aware that if men knew the full, unfiltered truth about a woman's sexual past, most women would be disqualified immediately. Disqualified for marriage, disqualified for dating, disqualified for anything outside of a smash and pass. You see, gentlemen, she doesn't hide her past because it's harmless. She hides it because she knows it changes how she's seen. And every woman knows this whether they admit it or not. Ask a man about his past, and you get chronology. Ask a woman about hers, and you get curation. Her stories are trimmed, the details are fuzzy, the context completely removed, the truth edited. By the time she's 30, she's had phases, experiments, situationships, mistakes, fun summers, crazy times, and hilarious European adventures. Different labels, same behavior, better marketing. As men, we overestimate a woman's innocence while women underestimate men's pattern recognition. Both of these errors cost men a lot of money, time, and energy. Most men never know who she slept with, what level those men were on, what she tolerated, or what she enjoyed. And that ignorance is intentional. Why? Because the messier the past, the smoother the story. She's not protecting herself. She's protecting your perception of her. Women will often say, well, I don't remember. She's lying. She remembers everything. Dates, names, places, and definitely the details. She just hopes that you never connect the dots. A man can forgive many things, but finding out he's the settlement phase and not the desire phase is not one of them. This is exactly why the reformed good girls are always in their late 20s to early 30s. Not because they're transformed, but because time forced a pivot. And for her, marriage isn't romance. It's risk management. It's an exit from a lifestyle that no longer allows her to indulge as freely as it once did. Women don't hide their pasts because it doesn't matter. They hide it because it matters too much. Most men meet women at the altar without ever meeting the truth. And this is why I tell you guys to study female nature. Because ignorance isn't bliss, and it damn sure isn't noble. But what it is expensive, and in some cases, deadly. But if you don't want to study female nature, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. They're both very, very important, but I will say this. Her ex matters more than her body count. Let me repeat that. Both are important, but her ex matters more than her body count. By comparison, body count is just a metric, but her ex is a programmer. One shapes her past, the other shapes her mind. A woman doesn't miss all the men she slept with. She missed the one who damaged her the most. Body count is a byproduct of trauma. Trauma creates habits, and habits create the version of her that you meet, because whoever broke her, that is the man she will subconsciously seek validation from for at least the next decade. Every one of us has seen, heard, or experienced this firsthand. Dude, my own mom is guilty of this. She blew up our family to chase a man who was addicted to crack, couldn't hold down a job, and put hands on her. But even now, in her 60s, she still talks about this dude. You'll treat her like gold, and she'll wonder why. Why? Because her ex treated her like she was disposable. You'll give her consistency, but she will crave chaos. Not only because she's damaged, but also because she's conditioned. You're not competing with her past men. You're competing with her emotional imprint. A woman's type isn't who she likes. It's the one who she couldn't recover from. And women will never tell you this, but the man who hurt her the most is the blueprint for every man she chooses after. And this is why good men get confused. You're treating her right, but she's addicted to wrong. And the sad truth is that trauma bonding isn't rare anymore. It's simply the modern dating scene. And most couples are just two people trying to heal wounds that somebody else created. Her heart doesn't follow logic. It follows scars. And if you do not understand her ex, then you do not understand who or what you are actually dealing with. So the quick math here is that her body count is her history, while her ex is the ghost you're fighting. And until her emotions kill that ghost, she will never fully love you. Never forget that. One of the main reasons I have a gym at my house, but If we had women-only gyms, they'd go out of business because no woman would ever go. For modern women, the gym isn't about fitness, at least not for most of them. For most of them, it's about being seen while pretending it's about health. Remove the male gaze, take away the validation, eliminate the attention, and watch the motivation evaporate. Because if process really were the goal, mirrors wouldn't matter, outfits wouldn't matter, angles wouldn't matter. So trust me when I tell you, if there's no male audience, most women wouldn't even go to the gym in the first place. Men train for results. Women train for response. One builds strength, the other farms reactions. This is why the gym has become something of a combination between a runway and a brothel. Girls don't go to the gym to train anymore. They go to perform on a stage. Women-only gyms would quickly expose the truth, which is no men, no clout, no stares, no silent applause, no gym. If a woman were to ever sign up for a woman-only gym, all of a sudden self-care turns into I'm too busy. Their fitness journey turns into next Monday. Discipline shows when the cameras are off. And most of these Instagram fitness thoughts were never disciplined. They were just admired. It's the attention that fuels her training habit, not her health, not her strength, not her progress. Now let's all sit back and watch the predictable female cope in the comments. So let me debunk this body count double standard women are always squawking about. Yes, men and women can both have sex, but what happens after? Two completely different biological stories. Men are sexually designed for volume and variety. Simple biology. We produce around 300 million new sperm every day, and to that end, evolution wired men to spread his seed to both propagate and protect the human species. Sex for a man is a dopamine flash, a testosterone spike, a quick hit with absolutely zero emotional residue. This is why a man can have sex with a woman and literally feel nothing after, because his brain resets almost instantly. He doesn't bond through sex. He bonds through loyalty, respect, and peace. Women, on the other hand, are sexually built for depth. She's got one egg and one shot. When she has sex, her body floods with oxytocin, which, by the way, is the exact same hormone that bonds her to her baby. Her body is telling her, this man is worthy of my depth. Attach. And then she bonds with him. But every attachment is another bond formed and then broken. Do that enough times and those oxytocin receptors get burned out, they get dull, and eventually those receptors go almost numb. As a result, pair bonding becomes much more difficult for her. This is why women who sleep around regularly engage in extremely risky and sometimes even dangerous sex acts. They're chasing an oxytocin high they're no longer capable of experiencing. This is why most women don't want men to make love to them. They want men to angrily fuck them extremely roughly while pulling her hair and calling her names. Why else do you think most women have rape fantasies? This isn't judgment. This is biological chemistry. You see, men thrive on variety while women pay for it. Different wiring, different consequences. As we all know, women are the gatekeepers of sex and men are the gatekeepers of commitment. So men, you're wired to scatter. The high caliber men don't waste their seed because discipline beats dopamine every time. So choose a woman who brings you peace and makes your life easier. The rest is just white noise. And ladies, your value doesn't come from matching his body count. It comes from valuing your body and adhering to your standards until a man proves that he is worthy of your internal depth. So if you play against biology, ladies, you'll lose every time. But if you play with biology and lean into your feminine wiring, you'll build a family, not a following. This isn't anyone's opinion. This is evolutionary biology, body chemistry, and human psychology. Nothing more. And Mother Nature doesn't give a damn about your feelings. And that is why men can sleep around and be just fine, while women cannot. Argue all you want to, but there's a reason that 1 out of 3 of you is on antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, or some combination of both. And you know it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more dating wisdom just like this. Because girls are always bitching about, my body count doesn't matter. Oh yes, it does. That's exactly why you divide your body counts by 17 when you're asked about it. But here's the thing. We accept your past. And the reason we do is because we already know we're not taking you seriously for anything outside of a nail and bail. Modern men accept that you've been a hoe for the last decade plus, but just because they've accepted it doesn't mean they're going to ignore it. Men say all the time, I don't care about our past, as if it shows progressive thinking, maturity, and enlightenment. But with men like us, it's not fake maturity, it's indifference. If we're just having fun, cool. Do you, girl. Your past does not matter in situationships. No investment, no risk, no feelings. Everybody wins. But commitment, mother of his children, his last name, His legacy? Now the standards change. And they change immediately because fun and forever are two very different job descriptions with two very different expectations. Do not confuse them. Some women qualify for nights, some women qualify for life. But what most women don't understand is that most of them do not get promoted above a side chick. Now, low IQ men will call this judging. High IQ men call this vetting. You don't hire everyone for CEO just like you don't elevate every woman to be your main girl. Companies need people to flip the burgers and salt the fries, and high caliber men need women to come over to satisfy their needs and have their Uber on the way before they get dressed. Just because he's fucking you does not mean that he is okay with your past. And being okay with your past and understanding that your past means that you belong to the streets does not mean commitment. Just because he's in your bed, ladies, does not mean he is serious about you. Because the men you want move differently when it's real. They're selective, careful, and strategic. So yeah, they accept your past, but only because you were never a candidate for his future. Learn to become a man who doesn't chase but gets chased at datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. Take politics and religion out of it. Abortion is wrong for two very simple reasons. Number one, the my body, my choice argument. If you want to mutilate your bodies with piercings, tattoos, and bull rings, go right ahead. You do not need anyone's permission, least of all mine, to do whatever you want to your body. But that baby in your belly, that is not your body. That is the baby's body. And you do not own your kids. And here's something else to consider. Y'all like to bitch and moan about consent, right? But guess what? By having an abortion, you're making the unilateral decision to end the life of another human being without their consent. Are you gonna tell me with a straight face that you're good with that? Number two, most people are familiar with the Hippocratic Oath that doctors take before practicing medicine. However, most of us are only familiar with the three most important words in the Hippocratic Oath, which is do no harm. Purposely and intentionally ending the life of a perfectly healthy and viable human being before they take their first breath is literally doing harm. The doctors that perform these procedures are violating that Hippocratic Oath daily, but no one seems to have a problem with it. Not even the medical board. So that's it. Abortion's debunked. There is no argument, no rebuttal, no justification, period. For commit to a woman until she passes these 5 tests. Test number 1, respect while she's angry. Watch her when she's upset, not when she's sweet. Does she insult you? Does she embarrass you? Does she threaten you? Does she talk down to you? Or does she stay controlled? Anger reveals her character, gentlemen. Test number 2, the peace test. Ask yourself honestly, does she make your life easier or more difficult? Do you have more focus or more stress? A relationship should feel like peace, not a second job. Test number 3, and this is a big one, loyalty without supervision. How does she move when you're not around? Is she still respectful? Is she still private? Is she still disciplined? Or is she entertaining other men and seeking attention? Genuine loyalty does not need monitoring. Test number 4, the hard times test. Pretend to lose something on purpose. Time, money, convenience, your channel or social media page, whatever. Then watch her reaction. Is she supportive or is she distant and irritating? Any woman can love you when you're winning, but very few stay with you when you struggle. Test number 5, submission to structure. Can she follow your lead without turning everything into a debate? You see, cooperation is key here. And the hard truth is that 2 captains will sink your ship every single time. At the end of the day, guys, beauty fades, sexual frequency settles down, and excitement settles into normalcy. Because breakups don't happen overnight. They happen when men ignore red flags when dating. Then they hope commitment magically fixes everything. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. Remember guys, dating is the interview and commitment is the contract. And high caliber men do not sign contracts without thorough vetting, testing, and reading the fine print. If she fails even one test, dip like a video vixen. Because peace is very rare, gentlemen. So you can choose wisely or pay forever. Learn how to test women just like this with my 7-hour audio course, How to Build a Quality Woman from the Ground Up. Link in description and or bio. So here's how to be attractive as a man here in 2026. No tricks, no game, no corny pickup lines, just discipline. Rule number 1. Grooming. Get a haircut every 2 weeks. Clean fade, sharp beard, no mess. Most men look bad because they look careless and disheveled. And a properly groomed short ugly guy is far more attractive than a tall good looking guy with a scraggly unkempt beard and bad hair. Rule number 2, your body. Lift weights, eat clean, and do them both consistently. And don't worry about washboard abs, guys. Broad shoulders, well-defined traps, and a small waist does not need a six-pack to look good. Yes, it is an added bonus, but it's not necessary to look your best. Besides, if you exercise discipline in the kitchen and the gym as a lifestyle, washboard abs are inevitable anyway. The quick math here is that gym plus diet equals 90%, as in 90% of physical attraction is your physique. The simple truth is that the gym and your diet fixes just about everything, physically and mentally. Rule number 3, your style. There is no need to dress flashy. Instead, dress fitted. Clean shoes, neutral colors, and good hygiene. Keep it simple and don't try too hard. Look sharp, not loud. Rule number 4, your money and your mission. Guys, you have got to be busy building something. Your career, your business, your side hustle, your skills, your purpose. The fact of the matter is that men with direction are magnetic. The quick math here is that broke plus bored equals invisible. Never forget that equation, gentlemen. Rule number 5, your behavior. Talk less, smile less, and chase less. Instead, move calmly, slowly, and with certainty, because neediness kills attraction a lot faster than looks. In the end, attraction isn't complicated, guys. All you have to do is look strong, smell clean, dress sharp, and most of all, stay focused and do not chase. Do this consistently, and in 6 months, you will not recognize yourself. And neither will women. Learn the many simple yet effective ways to become attractive here in 2026 by heading to datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio. And when a man has enough experience dating, he understands that you should never try to control a woman. Instead, let her do whatever she wants, because that is how you see the truth. You see, control creates compliance, but freedom reveals character. And there's a big difference. If you have to monitor, restrict, or police her, you have already lost. Respect that requires supervision is fake respect. Low IQ men try to control women, while high IQ men simply observe them, because behavior under freedom is the real personality. So let her dress how she wants, let her text who she wants, and let her move how she wants. Don't interfere, just watch, because actions do not lie. If she respects you, she protects the relationship naturally. If she doesn't, she exposes herself quickly. Both outcomes save you a lot of time. Rules don't create loyalty, gentlemen, and neither does fear. What reveals loyalty is character, and character shows when nobody's watching or forcing it. The more you try to control her, the more insecure you look, but the more relaxed you are, the more powerful you look. Calm men do not chase compliance. They just replace the disrespect. So stop arguing, stop lecturing, and stop trying to fix everything. The quick math here is that silence plus observation is greater than emotional speeches. So never try to control a woman. Instead, give her freedom, because freedom exposes the truth, and the truth shows you exactly how much she respects you. Learn how to observe and not control on datingwisdom.net. Link in description and or bio to do it, because the one and only surefire 100% way to get your respect back from a woman is zero contact, period. Not paragraphs, not explanations, not closure talks, and definitely not begging. Just silence. Only silence works, because every time you chase, double text, or try to convince her, you tell her one thing: I need you more than you need me, and respect dies instantly there. The hard truth is that modern women do not respect availability, gentlemen. They've been programmed to respect scarcity. If you're always there, then you are always replaceable. If you're rarely around, then you become more valuable. It's really that simple. Zero contact does two very important things. It heals you and unsettles her. Now she wonders. Now she feels the loss. Now she notices your absence. Because talking lowers your value, arguing lowers your value, and explaining lowers your value. But walking away quietly, that raises your value literally overnight. So if she disrespects you, don't fight, don't chase, and don't try to prove anything. Just disappear. Because silence is the only language that brings respect back. And you can learn how to get your respect back with my 25-hour video course, Dating Wisdom A to Z. Link in description and or bio. My man knew exactly what it was, and he capitalized that night because he understood that girls will never just accidentally touch you. Ever. Most men live in fantasy. Most men think maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was random. Maybe she didn't mean it. Nah, player. She absolutely meant it. And the reason I know this is because I know that women are intentional. If she touches your arm, leans into you, fixes your collar, or plays with your hand, that's not clumsy. That's calculated. You see, women are keenly aware of personal space, and they never accidentally cross it, especially with men they don't like. If she does happen to unintentionally touch you, she'll let you know immediately by quickly apologizing and then ignoring you. Touch is interest, physical proximity is comfort, and comfort is attraction. This, gentlemen, is biology, not coincidence. If she's not touching you, she's not comfortable. And if she's not comfortable, she is not attracted. So stop overthinking this, guys, because women rarely say I like you with their words. They show it with their actions through behavior, closeness, and touch. And as we all know, actions speak louder than words. Nothing is accidental, guys. Not the touch, not the distance, not the closeness. She is always choosing, so pay attention. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to get dating wisdom just like this.